What's up, everybody? My name is Phoenix, and I am bringing you a brand new video today to report on my happiness that Destiny 2.0, the big patch that Bungie's been talking about for Destiny prior to the Taken King, and that I've been talking about, has dropped on Tuesday, and it has more or less fixed my single biggest problem that I've ever had with Destiny, in addition to bringing us all the quality of life improvements like double the vault space, the collection systems for your emblems, shaders, ships, and sparrows, not to mention your exotics. Like, all that stuff has been in the game, or is in the game now, but what I wanted to focus on was the questification that Bungie released, I guess, or implemented for the year one story content leading up to the Taken King. And this was always the one change that I was most excited about, because my biggest problem, hands down my biggest problem with Destiny in year one, was the fact that the world never felt alive. The characters felt less like characters than they did vending machines for gear. And I'm talking about specifically the Vanguard Guardians, Ikora Rey for the Warlocks, Cade 6 for the Hunters, and Commander Zavala for the Titans. You know, they're billed as these mentors to new Guardians that help them get the lay of the land and get adjusted to this new world, and yet all they really were vending machines for your gear once you got enough marks, or if you had enough glimmer to buy their lower tier gear. And this is despite the fact that they have not only voice actors, but at least two of them are fairly well-known actors in nerd and geek circles. Nathan Fillion of Firefly and Castle fame voices Cade 6, and then Gina Torres of, again, Firefly, Hannibal, and she actually had a small role in the Matrix movies, believe it or not. She voices Ikora Rey, the Warlock mentor, and yet the only dialogue you ever hear from them are these throwaway lines that they use just as greetings or whenever you actually interact with them. And then also, another big Hollywood actor, at least big as far as video games are concerned, was Bill Nye. And I'm not talking Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm talking Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm talking Victor from the Underworld movies. He voices the speaker, and yet apart from that opening intro, he's again reduced to a talkative vending machine. And it drove me nuts that they got all these great actors and gave them nothing to do. And, of course, then the other big issue was the story. What story? And, again, like, the story missions, like, you do them, and there's that, Peter Dinklage did his little voiceover intro for the missions, or sometimes, I guess one of the Guardian mentors, or the Cryptarch even, chimes in on a couple of them. But there's no thread really running through all those story missions. You're just kind of left to your own devices to pick them out of the world. And that is no longer the case in Destiny 2.0. Yes, the Vanguard mentors still don't have any voiceover dialogue, which I was kind of hoping we'd get, but wasn't honestly expecting. But what happens now is almost every story mission in the game, every main story mission in the game at least, is now given to you via quest. So, for example, I'll use Eris Morn as an example, actually, because that's the one that's freshest in my head right now. Well, actually, no. Here's an example that doesn't rely on Eris Morn. When you first meet the Stranger, and when you start going through the Black Garden quest, that actually sends you back to Ikora Rey, the Warlock mentor, if you're playing a Warlock, who then she sends you on the quest to go charge the Gate Lord's Eye in the Cabal base on Mars. And that's how it works now. Every story mission is now given to you via quest, either from one of the mentors, or Eris, or the Cryptarch doesn't send you on anything. But the effect of this, and there's also a small little paragraph of text that functions as whatever character actually speaking to you and actually giving you instructions. And the speaker comes into play on a few of these, where the speaker will sometimes send you on one or two of these story missions. I think the Chamber of Night story mission is one that he actually sends you on fairly early in the game. And even though there's no voiceovers and it's just text that you have to read, the effect of this for making the world feel alive and like an actual living, breathing place that your actions have consequences for is amazing. Like, I actually started a new character to play through all this content from level 1 just to kind of role play and see how much of a difference it actually made. And guys, I gotta tell you, apart from like a few story missions that aren't questified, that there aren't really any quests for, and a few weird, I guess, moments where you can sort of see the seams between the year 1 and the year 2 content. A perfect example of that is when Eris sends you on the Sword of Crota mission. Her text says that the Guardian, or the Vanguard, and the Cryptarchs, everybody believes that the sword has already been destroyed, and her goal is to sort of open your eyes to see the arrogance of the Vanguard, basically. Only when you actually go on to that mission, the Cryptarch is telling you that they already know that the sword is alive and well, for lack of a better phrase. And so that's kind of one of those moments where you can kind of see the seams where they stitch these two different games together, because that's what Destiny 2.0 feels like, especially with regard to the year 1 content. It feels almost like a completely different game, and at least for me personally, it takes Destiny from being a 6 out of 10 game and makes it, I'll be a little bit generous and say it makes it an 8 out of 10 game. I wish you couldn't see the seams as well as you can in some places, and I don't yet think that they've actually questified the raids, which is still a big gripe for me, but my character isn't really yet at level to do the raids, so maybe when I cross that threshold, a quest does show up. And if they do that, quite frankly, Destiny would go even from being an 8 out of 10 to being an 8.5 out of 10 for me. So between the collection systems, the doubled vault space, and the questification, I gotta say, if you were one of those people who bailed on Destiny early because... Oh, and I also forgot to mention, they've tweaked the level system now so that you can level from 1 to 34 based solely on experience and combat and, like, you know, getting experience from killing things or turning in quests or bounties or whatnot. You know, light is no longer a factor in your ultimate character level. So if you're one of those people who bailed on Destiny early, I gotta say, now would be the perfect time to give Destiny a second shot, because in some surprisingly meaningful ways, Destiny 2.0 is an almost completely different game than the Destiny we got at launch, and I could not be happier to finally be able to say that. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you click that subscribe button to stick around for the next one, and I also plan on getting my capture card sorted out this weekend, one way or the other, so expect an update on that on Monday. And yeah, that's all I got for you. So take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.